Right, listen up. If your pay slip feels like it's shrinking, your car is costing you a second mortgage, and the price of a train ticket makes your eyes water, we need to talk.
Oh my God, is this an intervention?
Inflation is out there, taking a massive bite out of your hard-earned cash. The average cost of just running a car, over £3,000 a year. But what if I told you that two wheels could slash that bill to a third, sometimes even less, and hand back up to 50% of your commute time? I'm going to hit you with the numbers, bust the myths, and show you exactly how a motorcycle isn't just transport, it's a financial lifeline that gives you back both your money and your precious Monday mornings. Picture this, if you dare. Every single morning, you're wedged into a packed train carriage, paying a fortune for the privilege of getting up and close and personal with a stranger's armpit. Or you're sat in bumper-to-bumper traffic, watching the fuel gauge drop and your will to live along with it. Imagine using that train fare for something worthwhile, gaining 1 hour of your life back per day, and actually genuinely grinning on your way to work. Not a forced, I'm fine with this grimace, but a real one. That's not some mad fantasy, that's the simple, beautiful reality of swapping 4 wheels for 2. It's not just changing your vehicle, it's a full-on lifestyle upgrade, people. First things first, the price shock nobody talks about. Let's get straight to it, shall we? The obvious, glaring, wallet-smashing difference, the purchase price. A perfectly capable, brand spanking new, learner-friendly motorbike, we're talking something like a KTM or a Honda 125, proper machines, not glorified push bikes, will set you back about £4,000. Brand new. Now, let's look at a no-frills Dacia Sandero.
Wow.
The UK's cheapest new car. That's nearly 15 grand minimum. That £11,000 gap is more than enough to max out your ISA for the year. Or, if you're not into sensible financial planning, it's enough to buy 250 decent pub lunches. The used market, even more bonkers. Reliable small bikes with 15,000 miles on them are sitting pretty around £2,000 mark, while their four-wheeled equivalents with similar mileage rarely drop below 12k. The opportunity cost here isn't just a number on a spreadsheet, it's practically screaming at you.
Look at me!
Park the difference in a basic investment fund and congratulations, you've just bought yourself a year retirement before you even get through the finance agreement. Hang on, bikes rarely even need finance, you could just pay cash and ride off into the sunset, leaving the salesman utterly bewildered. And if you're going down the finance route, some new motorcycles are so cheap they're the same price as your monthly phone bill. Purchase price? £12,000. Two-wheel equivalent? Very tasty, £2,000. £12,000 for a car or £2,000 for a bike? Which would you choose?
Well, duh.
Chapter 2. Insurance. The £40 secret. Fully comprehensive cover on that common or garden hatchback averages around £60 a month across the country, and that's if you're lucky. For the equivalent protection on a mid-sized motorcycle, we're talking £30, £40 a month, multiply that over 5 years, and you've just saved yourself £1,500.
Nice.
That's enough cash to buy a second-hand weekend fun bike, or finally take that trip riding the North Coast 500 in Scotland. The insurers aren't daft, they reward the maths. Lower replacement costs, fewer multi-car pile-ups, and a customer base which, let's be honest, has to pay a bit more attention. It all adds up to savings that make your car driving mates weep into their renewal quotes.
I've got nothing left.
Yearly insurance? For a bike, about £500 a year. For a car, more like £700. Chapter 3. Fuel. Double the MPG, half the pain. With petrol currently sitting around £1.35 a litre and the average car coughing its way to a measly 38 miles per gallon, 40-mile round-trip commute is sucking nearly £6 out of your wallet every single day. A 400cc motorbike, on the other hand, sipping fuel at a blissful 70 miles per gallon, knocks that down to a glorious £3 a day.
It's crazy.
Do the maths over a year and you're looking at over £700 staying firmly in your pocket. That's not spare change, that's a return flight to somewhere sunny. £720 a year for fuel, £1,400 for the car. And if you've noticed that electricity is now a thing, it gets even better. Plug-in motorcycles can cost you a penny per mile. A penny! That undercuts not just petrol bikes, but also the bus fare in most cities. So, while everyone else is stressing about the prices at the pump, you're plugging in, charging up, and laughing all the way to wherever you want. For next to nothing. Chapter 4. Maintenance and tyres. Small parts, smaller bills. Here's another area where the system tries to fleece you. But bikes, they just shrug it off. Fewer cylinders, no massive complicated bodywork hiding everything, and parts that are actually accessible without a degree in mechanical engineering or a set of specialist tools. You could practically do an oil change in your hallway. I did indeed do one in a French pub car park just last week. So, tyres. A decent set of bike tyres, you're going to be spending 300 quid, and you're lucky to squeeze 12,000 miles from them. On a car, 500 or 600 quid to buy, and they'll probably roll about 30,000 miles. So per mile, that big comfy box on wheels actually wins the rubber contest. Oil changes, 2 litres versus 5, and you get to skip the terrifying dance with the axle stands crawling under a ton of steel.
Oh my god.
Even if you hate getting your hands dirty, the maximum price for an MOT on a bike is almost half that of a car, and independent bike shops often charge a fraction of the labour rate of main dealers because the work is quicker, less complex, and their overheads just aren't as high. It's simple economics that the car world conveniently ignores. Yearly maintenance costs for the bike, about 500 quid. For the car, £1,000. Ouch. Chapter 5. Parking, tolls, and urban scams. The city centre, where cars are treated less like vehicles and more like cash machines, ready to dispense 20 quid daily parking fines and those infuriating ULEZ charges. It's a tax on being inefficient. Motorcycles, in most London boroughs, they park in dedicated bays for free, and in Westminster, it's £1 for the whole day. And that notorious London congestion charge, for bikes, it's precisely 0. Cars, 15 quid a day, just for the privilege of sitting in traffic. In many parts of London, you can even park a bike in a residence bay for free. You're not just saving money, you're outsmarting the system, one parking spot at a time.
You're so effing smart.
Parking a motorcycle daily, precisely £0. Driving car in London, at least £1,000, up to £3,500 a year. Chapter 6, the gear elephant.
But what about the gear?
I hear the naysayers whine. Helmets, jackets, boots, that costs a fortune. Right, let's tackle the elephant in the room. Or rather, the CE-rated armour on your body. Yes, quality, life-saving gear will run you about 700-800 quid if you shop smart. But here's the thing, unlike a car, that gear when you look after it lasts a decade. A full decade. And here's a thought, if it pretty much replaces the smart casual wardrobe you'd otherwise be wearing to the office, think of it as you just got a wardrobe upgrade. And £800 over 10 years, that's less than 7 quid a month, cheaper than a pint in London. Compare that to a single car insurance excess payment after a minor prang, and the gear pays for itself before you've even finished saying, "Sorry mate, I didn't see ya." Speaking of motorcycle gear, head to the RideTo store. We have motorcycle helmets, we have motorcycle gloves, we got jackets, boots, trousers, everything you need. RideTo.com for all your motorcycle gear. Buying your motorcycle gear, yes, there is a one-off cost, let's say £700 if you're buying good stuff. And yes, to drive a car, probably £0, unless you need some loafers. Chapter 7. Hidden expenses nobody mentions. Look, I'm not here to sell you a fairy tale. There are, of course, some unique motorcycle-specific costs that you have to endure. Yes, your chain does need looking after, and if you're clumsy, dropping the bike can scratch some bits. It happens.
You broke my little mirror.
Budget a couple of £100 a year for these incidentals, and you're still coming in miles under a typical car owner spends on a surprise check engine light disaster.
Check engine.
Check engine.
And let's be real, there's also the motorcycle hobby tax. That shiny new exhaust, the fancy tail tidy, those new levers, they're optional, not mandatory. They're the equivalent of putting those massive alloys on your hatchback. They look cool, but they don't get you to work any quicker. Keep your credit card in your wallet for the frivolous bits, and your bike remains what it should be. A lean, mean, money-saving machine, not a financial pit you've lovingly dug for yourself. Chapter 8. Time is money. The 50% bonus. Now, this is where the spreadsheets fail to capture the true value, but where your life satisfaction will absolutely skyrocket. We're talking about time, the one thing you can't earn back. Because filtering here is legal in the UK, riders can save 2 minutes per mile during rush hour. Let that sink in. On a soul-crushing 10-15 mile commute, you could be saving up to 20 minutes back in your pocket every single morning. Compound that over a career and you've just reclaimed 3,000 hours. That's 19 weeks or almost 5 months of your life instead of staring at the back of Ford Fiesta. 5 months! What would you do with an extra 80 hours per year? Sleep in, start that side hustle, or just sit down and have a proper cup of tea? Either way, the value of that reclaimed time is absolutely dwarfing any of the savings combined. It's not just about money, it's about your life. Chapter 9, the health and happiness dividend. Beyond the bank balance, there's the stuff that actually makes you want to go to work. The stress of a miserable commute is known as a health wrecker, slowly chipping away at you. Bikes, however, they demand focus, and that is two-wheeled meditation. You can't be scrolling through Instagram in traffic. I've seen you.
What a nice little WhatsApp there, are you, mate?
Or getting wound up by other drivers when you're actively engaged in riding a bike. Riders also burn an extra 150 calories a year by just riding the machine. Over a year, that's the calorie equivalent of running 7 marathons, and that's without the knackered knees or having to do any training.
I'm petrified of nipple chafing.
These physical and mental gains mean fewer sick days and generally a sunnier outlook, even when your boss drops that urgent Friday afternoon email. You're not just getting to work on a bike, you're getting a workout, / a six-pack, and a therapy session, all in one. Mental and physical well-being. Smiley face for the bike, sad face for the car. For those of you who care about the future existence of our planet, here's the environmental charity on top. A 300cc bike emits roughly 30% less CO2 per mile than a car, and making it requires far less steel, lithium, and all the other rare materials that we're digging up. Now, if the train is packed, it's probably still the greenest way to go. But if that bus is half empty, your efficient little bike suddenly edges ahead on a per passenger per mile basis. And going electric, that completely erases tailpipe emissions, whilst using a battery a fraction the size of an electric car's. It's a win-win that doesn't require you to sacrifice joy or efficiency. And there's some legitimately great electric motorcycle and scooter options out on the market today. Are you already out on the road riding and enjoying it? Let's hear your story. How much are you saving? How much are you loving it? Let us know in the comments below. And if you're not already riding, what are you waiting for? Head over to RideTo.com, book your CBT, and experience what we're talking about. Chapter 11, the risk reality check. All right, let's be straight about this. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Per mile, motorcycles do carry a high risk of injury. That is a fact. But the answer isn't to run scared. It's to be smart. It's about taking control. ABS, that anti-lock braking system, slashes accident rates by a third. Good quality gear, the stuff we talked about, that reduces injury severity massively. And starting out right with proper high quality training for your CBT and beyond makes all the difference. Even once you've got your full license, you don't need to stop then. There's a plethora of options for advanced training and extra lessons that you can have to make you a better, safer, and more confident rider out on the road. Training is one of the best investments you can make to stay safe and enjoy riding. Even if you're spending £1,000 or more on all of that training, you're going to be a better rider, and it still pales in comparison to all the money you're saving versus driving a car. Chapter 12, who shouldn't swap yet? Now, I'm not saying a bike is the answer for absolutely everyone all of the time. If your daily life involves lugging 3 screaming kids, a sheet of plasterboard, or the weekly shop for a family of 6, then yeah, keep the estate car. If you live somewhere where it rains sideways for 6 months of the year, you might need to invest in some serious waterproofs, or just use the bike on the 3 sunny days that pass for a British summer. But here's the beauty of it. Partial adoption. You don't have to go full biker 24/7 to feel the benefits. Swapping just 2 car commutes a week can easily save you £1,000 a year. That's £1,000 you didn't have before, just for making a smart choice a couple of days a week. It's about being pragmatic, not a purist. Right, scores on the doors, let's add it all up. Obviously, we've got a £10,000 difference in purchase price. Running costs per year, £1,720 a year. Yearly running costs for a car, £5,100 at least. Yearly savings on running costs alone, £3,380. Keep doing that over a 40-year career, and you're talking £150,000 plus with interest that you're going to have in the bank instead of in the whole of some car. That beautiful, glorious £3,500 invested in a conservative 6% becomes an extra £150,000. But it's more than just money. With a bike, you gain freedom, you gain health. You gain a daily dose of genuine joy that no heated steering wheel or a fancy infotainment system can ever match. Cars have their place, for sure. But for the solo commute, for the daily grind, they're an overpriced, inefficient habit we can no longer afford. So, trade that 4-wheeled steel box for handlebars. Embrace the open road and watch as the cost of living crisis suddenly feels a whole lot smaller. It's not just a ride, it's your freedom plan. So, what are you waiting for? Get started. Head over to RideTo.com and book your CBT.